All right. So let me backtrack here a little bit. So when the market is moving in a direction, either up or down, there's a couple of things that I like to look for. Leroy's off today, and that's why I'm doing the live stream. So I was explaining that here what we're having occurring here with the software, the blueprint, and the roadmap is the market moving in a direction down. But I'm not really clear on when I should buy or I should sell unless there happens to be some type of reasoning behind it. So the first thing I'm going to look for is whether or not we are in between these roadmap zones, for example, breaking through the roadmap zone or bouncing off of the roadmap zone. And that leads me as an understanding that we're going to continue further down or further up, so the roadmap's not interfering. Okay? So that's the first thing. The first thing is to understand whether or not we're not taking a trade in an area where it may reverse on me. Okay? The next thing I want to do is pinpoint exactly where, at what price am I buying, or where I'm selling. Because sometimes me jumping in thinking it's going to continue doesn't really help me. There's overbought, oversold, there's specific entries. So we're going to focus right now just on the blueprint software. And the blueprint is included with mentorship. I know some of you have it as well. And so the blueprint software allows you to see the market work as a stair step or a staircase. So if you think of a staircase, it looks like this, right? So these are stairs, right, like that. And so that's what I was explaining earlier, that what you're seeing is the market may be going down, but every time it goes down, it pauses a little bit, takes profit, and then continues, then pauses a little bit, takes profit, and then continues. And so what we're seeing here is as the market starts to go down, the roadmap at first, right over here, does not stop it, right? So it goes right through it. So we don't see a reversal, we don't see it pausing, we just see it blow right through this area, this roadmap zone right over here. So that means that as soon as it breaks through the zone, and my recommendation is 2-3 ticks. I know you guys have the roadmap, some of you already have it, so my recommendation is let it break the roadmap zone by 2 or 3 ticks to make sure that it's not just bouncing off of it and it's going to run to the next zone. And so once it hit the next zone over here, it paused for a little bit and it didn't really go anywhere. So it gave a signal, it didn't do anything, but once it breaks through the zone, I have here this little arrow here, once it breaks through the zone by 2 or 3 ticks, that means this zone is no longer important. I'm not really thinking about it as support. I'm not concerned about it reversing on me. It's almost as if to say this area of support or this roadmap zone that's being created is not going to reverse the market. There's nobody there pushing the market up, right? So as soon as the market starts to go through it, then I look for signals. I say, can I go short on the Trade Scalper? Can I go short on the blueprint, the Atlas line? Whatever you are trading, you're looking for an opportunity to pinpoint. So what the blueprint software, these little shaded areas here, it acts almost like a staircase. So the market makes a move, stops and pauses, and then we're looking for it to either continue in the same direction or to reverse. But it didn't reverse because here is the shaded area, and instead the market kind of went sideways and then it broke lower. So think of a staircase where it goes like this, like this, like this, like that, like that, like that. So that's really what the blueprint software is doing. I think some of you in the room are mentorship students, have attended it, and you should know already a little bit more about the blueprint. And so the blueprint is looking at a breakout. Really, that's really what it's doing. And the breakout is based off of either 1 or 2 bars breaking out from this little consolidation, this stair level. So you see how the market kind of went sideways and then it broke. And that's the reason why we have this signal here to go short. And then once you go short, you're waiting for it to obviously go in your favor to the short side and not go up, right? Last thing we want is to see the market turn around and go up. So the staircase is continuing to go down. and then it continued lower, and it provided another signal based off of this one, and then it consolidated a little bit and created another signal based off of this one. And so now we're here right now, and we have a roadmap. So the two things that I'm looking for is I'm looking for the market to either land in this roadmap zone, which is here, pause, right? So I want to see it kind of go as close as possible. It just missed it here by a point or so, but I'm waiting for it to come down into this zone, which it still may do, and then reverse. So that is my opportunity to be a buyer. Now, if it never reaches it, we still have this blueprint area, the shaded area. So what you're going to see, and let me show you the back end of the software here. What you're going to see is in the blueprint, you have an option for how many consecutive bars before a signal is generated. So if this is the shaded area right over here, and I have it set to 2 consecutive bars either above or below this shaded area, when this candle closes, I'm using a 1-minute chart, so it should be fairly quickly in about a couple of seconds here, we're going to see a signal to go long. And you can go long, and here is the area where you want to get out, or you want to be very careful that once it goes into this roadmap zone, not to continue thinking that it's going to break through it, right? We want to make sure that we don't get stuck here and it reverses. So 2 consecutive bars here, and there's the signal right there, right? So now to go long, it's not a problem to go long. There's nothing stopping me, right? The questions I always ask myself is, why am I going long? Is there anything stopping me? And how much can I make on this trade compared to the risk? So if I want to take a trade, I'm going to talk a little bit about risk here. If I want to take a trade here, just expand this out here, I already know that this is the area of consolidation where the market stalled and stopped. The closer I enter to where it's breaking out from this consolidation, the better. So I'm not looking to take a trade that's really far away from this shaded area, or in the same case here in this long, not that far away from this shaded area. So always remember that where you enter should always be at the beginning of a move or a leg up or down. It shouldn't be after it makes a big move and then you say, okay, now I'm going to jump in. So this blueprint long here that you saw the signal appear live, it occurred because it's from this area we have 2 bars. We have one here. Oops. We have one here, if it lets me put a number 1 here. Yep, 1 and 2. So these 2 bars consecutively are showing me that it's coming away from the blueprint, this shaded area, and that's why the signal appears. Now going long, as again, remember, we're entering because it's close to where it's breaking out from, 2 consecutive bars from the shaded area, and we're also thinking if there's anything conflicting. The only thing conflicting is up here, is the roadmap. And the roadmap's going to tell me once it lands in this area, it may reverse. So I don't want to hold onto a position long once it lands in this roadmap zone, because my thinking is that there may be profit taking. So again, let's talk a little bit about manipulation and profit taking. When the market is being accumulated, so there's buyers, there's buyers, there's buyers, there's buyers, there's buyers, and then all of a sudden these people or these traders or these robots, whatever you want to call them, are accumulating positions, 2, 3, 5, 10, and finally they want to take profit. They want to say, for whatever reason, it's time to take my profit. Let me get out of all my positions. So all of these little accumulations of buying and buying and buying are all small, and they're creating the market to go up. And then what's happening is they say profit taking, and when profit taking happens, it's unloading a huge amount of contracts all at the same time, and that's what I'm concerned with. So that's what the roadmap here is indicating to me. It's indicating to me that I don't want to be long in this area because of an area of profit taking is going to overrun me and overpower me. and that's going to turn the market around. Let me know if everyone understands that. Any questions so far? I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay as well. All right. Let me know if I need to explain. Everybody good? All right. Now, market never reached or never met here this zone. It still may get up there, but for right now, it's starting to turn around and go lower. So what we're going to see is a new roadmap being created with the same idea. Okay? With the same idea. So I want to be looking at this here as a potential where the market's going to reach it and reverse off of it, or I'm looking for a potential where down here somewhere, I'm not really sure where it's going to happen, the roadmap somewhere down here is also going to tell me that the market may turn around and come off of it. Okay? So that's how I'm approaching it. Is there anything stopping me from taking a trade? A pinpoint and exact entry that's not overbought and not oversold, and followed by when I'm entering, what's the risk? Is the risk too much? Should I be taking the trade? Is the volatility too high? I don't have the ATR, but let me add here the ATR. The ATR setting that I use is always a value of 4. I'm looking at the last 4 candles, and you can add the ATR to any type of chart that you're using. And what I do is I save it as a default. That's how I do it. So that way it's always set to a setting of 4. Okay. So now once the ATR here pops up and it recalculates the roadmap and the blueprint, give it just a second here, we're going to see the type of moves that are occurring. Is it too slow? Is it too fast? Is the market worth trading? We've had really slow, I think it's been slow comparably. The market's been slow. So if you're looking at the ATR, the average true range, and it's at 1 or 3 ticks, it may not even be worth trading because there's nothing really happening. So I would definitely recommend looking at the ATR, and let's see if this loads up here. It's calculating. I must have a lot of days here. So it's calculating. Give it just a second here. So make sure that the ATR, the average true range, is within reason. So this being 3 points over here, let me see here. There's a roadmap zone E. There is sometimes a roadmap zone E, Steve. Yes, there is. So it landed in the zone here. There's a blueprint short signal. Again, it's based off of this area, and the market's beginning to kind of stop and stall out. I would not take this blueprint short unless it breaks through, right? So again, remember the idea is if it continues to go through, then the zone is broken. It's no longer valid. There's not anything I should be concerned with. Support. So a tick or two outside the zone, that tells me it's over and we're going to go lower. Okay? So that's an idea. The other idea is it lands in the zone, begins to stall out, right? So if it doesn't continue through it and then reverses off of it, then we have a long opportunity to the upside. Okay, so as long as we're not fighting right here the shorts, because it seems like it's finding some type of support or it's finding some type of legs, but once it breaks through, it's almost like, and it looks like it just broke through by a tick. Once it breaks through, you're going to see it typically like a shot. It just blows right through it and just keeps on going as if everybody's piling on in the same direction. All right. Dejan, Nico, Steve, Janelle, make sure everyone understands that, is okay with that. Now the ATR being 3, that means 3 points. That means each candle here, on average, the last 4 is only, well, only is 3 points is pretty good. So 12 ticks or 3 points. So if you think about a risk, if you think about a target, if you think about how to approach this, we're going to look at 3 points to start off. Now, the question I get a lot is trailing stops. Trailing stops are based on a few things. So I'm going to cover here what a trailing stop is if you're interested in trailing a stop. once the market goes in your favor, so in your favor, 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, I use again the ATR. So once the market moves 1 times the ATR, let me just write this stuff down here. 1 times the ATR. So for example, we're seeing a move here. It's kind of still stuck here at the roadmap. Let's say that you went long. Just say long as an example. You go long and you have a move that's 3 ticks, 1 times the ATR, which is right over here. Okay, something like this. So 1 times the ATR is what we can expect. Okay. Next, I want to take a larger profit target. I just don't want to get in and get out with 1 times the ATR. So what I'm looking at is once it makes this target, will it make another 3 points and another 3 points? So in order to do that, what I'd like to do is take 2 contracts or multiples of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and you can do this on micros as well. You don't have to be the regular E-mini S&P. It could be the micro contract. And so once the market goes in your favor by 1 times the ATR, we're going to say 3 points. Okay. And your stop is here somewhere, let's say, as a long, right? We're buying it. So this is your stop and this is your target right over here. Once the market makes 1 times the ATR, half of your position is off. So half of your position, whether you're long or short, half of your position is out. So 1 times the ATR from here to here, exit half of your position. That's why I'm using 2, 4, 6, 8. So we'll use the number 2. If you're trading with 2 contracts, half of your position is off. You have 1 left. The stop over here isn't brought up to where you currently entered or where the market happens to be. You're bringing up your stop, whatever your stop is, equal to the profit you made. So if you made 3 points up and let's say your stop, your catastrophic stop is down here, bring your stop on the remainder half of your position equal to the target you made. So bring the stop up to, or bring your stop equal to the profit you made on the first half of your position. So for example, market goes up 3 points, half your position is off. The stop, if it's down here, bring it up 3 points from where you entered. So bring the stop equal to the profit you made. Does that make sense to everybody? Just want to make sure everyone's okay with that. You made 3 points, half your position gets off, the remainder half of your position is now 3 points from where you entered. So if it happens to reverse and it goes back down, you're not putting your stop where you entered. You're putting your stop 3 points from where you entered on the remainder half of your position. Okay, so I'm not having a stop that's so close that just on random movements where it goes like this and like this and like this, it'll take me out prematurely on my trailing stop and my runner. Okay? So, once the market goes in your favor, 1 times the ATR, half your position off, bring your stop up equal to the profit you made from where you entered, opposite position. Now, if it continues to go up another 3 points here, your stop, which is here, is now going to be moved up. If it continues to go up, you bring your stop up. You're always behind it, equal to the target you made. Okay? Now, I have a video on trailing stops. If anybody needs that how-to video, send me an email. I know this is a little difficult to see because I'm showing you roadmap, I'm showing you blueprint, but I'm happy to send you guys a link to that video in order for you to understand how I do the trailing stops with multiples of 2, which works out better in my favor because once it makes the target, then it's a $0 trade. Okay? Right? So you enter here. Here is your stop. The market continues to go up, right? Like this. Once it makes your first target, you're not bringing your stop to where you entered. You're bringing your stop equal to the profit you made. And if it continues to go up, then you can bring your stop up accordingly, always behind it enough to the profit that you made. All right? Okay, so what do we see here on the chart on the roadmap? Well, it landed in the roadmap, had a doji, it's stuck here, it's having a hard time breaking the roadmap. You're not going to see a signal. Let me just remove this here. You're not going to see a signal to go long because it broke the roadmap. So the software will not give you a signal if it breaks the roadmap. It really wants it to stay contained in here. So there won't be a signal to go long. Instead, you may want to wait until it breaks through to go short, or if it starts to go higher, there'll be a roadmap zone somewhere up here, and then we can look to sell it. So we may have type of a wave or a retracement where it goes down, goes up a little bit, and then continues back down. We'll see. But the roadmap being where it is right here and the market stopping and stalling the price, that's important because the roadmap almost gave us a cautionary tale to be very careful here. Okay, so we may see the market continue lower. We may go up to a roadmap zone here in the future and then turn around. Anyone have any questions so far?
Order submitted. Order canceled. Order canceled.
All right, so we have here a, thanks Stephen, we have here a zone, right? So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the market's going to reach the roadmap zone up here. I'm thinking that there's a little bit of a delay also. So I'm seeing probably it live before you guys are seeing it. So there's a roadmap zone. The market's going to land in the roadmap zone. It may stall out and reverse, and there's your shorting opportunity. So if you're thinking ahead, where can I sell? Where can I buy? It's either going to stop at the roadmap zone, reverse, and there'll be a short opportunity, or it may just go through the roadmap zone above and just keep on going long, and at that point, there'll be a long opportunity. Okay, while we're waiting for this to kind of set up, let me just show you a little something here on the AutoPilot. Some of you have the AutoPilot. It's something new. It's based on price action. I'm using a 1,000 tick chart. Usually we use a 1,000 tick chart unless the market's slow or if it's too fast or too volatile. And so what's going on here is as the market moves up and down, right now, I just turned it on right now, so it's going to look for the next trade. So it doesn't start immediately, it starts and looks for the next trade after you turn it on. So the way that this works, here, let me just show you the...
Order submitted.
Well, there's an order now submitted. So the way this works is that it realizes that the market's making a move either up or down, and it has to be filled on this specific candle. If it's not filled on this candle, right, if it's not a strong move or strong enough move, it cancels these orders and reassesses it and looks for, as it did right now, it flashed, it's looking for a better price or another price, almost as if it's following it. So it has to be filled
Order submitted
on the same candle, which it did. So now that it's filled, what you're going to see is if it starts to go in your favor, it's going to bring this stop here to where you entered, a break even. So there's a lot of settings involved with this. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of traders are using this in unique ways that I haven't even tested with different charts. We do have some recommendations for a 1,000 tick chart. I've been playing around with the 15-second chart, which works really well. But I think the opportunity for the autopilot is when we have a little bit of a stronger market or stronger move, and it allows the trailing stop capability. So I'm going to show you here what that means or what that looks like here. Well, you see how that brought the let me see if I can expand this out here a little bit like that. Do you see how
order filled?
I wanted to show you this live, but do you see how once the market went in your favor, it immediately moved your stop,
Order
which was
submitted.
here, to break even, and then it began to trail it behind it. So when you're thinking about trade management, sometimes it's difficult to do this live. I like to use the ATM strategy because it gets me in and gets me out. I'm not big on using the ATM strategy any other way. Get in, get out, be done. But now when you're thinking about automation, it's almost impossible for me to add another signal or add another position, cancel my current position, constantly
Order
doing that,
submitted.
constantly. And that's really what this is for. You see how it brought the stop to your break even, and now it's trailing behind it. And I think that at this point, I have nothing to lose, right? It's just trailing behind it, and this is the ultimate target. I think it's 40 ticks or something. I have it set to. And so if it continues or if it closes out, it tries again. So I think it's a system that is based on price action and not any type of conventional indicator is really important. In my view, I like the type of like moves and breakouts and things like that. Those are things that I really like. But I have to say, over trading is a problem. We don't want to over trade. We have to be
Order
careful
filled.
because this thing could trade
Order submitted.
all day long, right? And so I don't want that. I know that a lot of people want to do that, but I'm more on the camp that says it made my money for the day. It could be $100, it could be $50, it could be $500, but then stop. And so I'm trying to show you the back end here of the
Order canceled.
of the strategy, so you guys can have a good understanding of what's involved, right? What's included, right? So this here, I don't have any start time enabled. I just turned it on because I just wanted to show. So we can turn on
Order submitted.
specific hours, and we could
Order
also
submitted.
adjust the target for both the buys and the sells and the stops separately. So in the latest version of the autopilot, we isolated them out. We said, okay, we're going to have a separate target and a separate stop for longs and shorts separately, right? Separately. Now the other thing is the daily limit. So I don't have any daily limit for either target or stop because I just want to show you the signals as they occur. But this is good because if the market makes $500, or if you say I only want to lose, let's say $200, you can set it to whatever you want, right? So this is really customizable. You can set it to I want to make $1,000 and then stop, or I want to lose $500 and then stop. Whatever the case may be, you have that opportunity, and then it won't trade until you turn it back on. The other thing that I added recently was the maximum bars in a loss. I thought this was a good setting because if we have 2 bars, and it may happen here so I can show you a good example, if 2 candles close and it's a loss, it closes out the position. It's not
Order canceled.
Oh, as it did right there. You see how it's had 2 bars and a loss. This may be a little tight. You know, some traders tell me that 3, 5 work better, so you're giving this a little bit chance. But I'm in my mind, if we have 2 bars that are in the losing position that have created, then I'm out of the trade, right? I'm not holding on to it. Think of it almost like a time-based stop, but it's really not time because I'm using a tick chart. So there's a lot of settings here that are involved here with the AutoPilot. Anyone have any questions on that? Let me see here. All right, Steve. Email me if you have any questions, though, directly to support@DayTradeToWin, okay? And myself or Victor will answer, okay? Oh. Four? I can change it to 4. It's not a problem. We can do that as well. Right now it's on. I have to turn it off, but we can definitely change it to
Order submitted
to 4. Right over here, it's maximum bars of 2. You can change it to 4. So this is a good example to show you, really everything that can be done with it. It's not just buy and sell and exit. It's trailing stops. It's break evens. It's how many candles in a trade. So right now, you'll see if it starts going up a little bit more, this break even will kick in and then it'll trail a stop. If there's 2 bars, because I have it set to 2, it'll close out the position. So I'm trying to have the smallest stop or exit possible. If this is going to be a losing trade, I'm not going to hold on to it. I want to get rid of it as fast as possible. So if there's 2 candles here that close below where I entered, that's how I have it set, the settings, it'll close out the position. So it may even be a small loss as well. Which is fine. I just don't want to have those large losses, number one, and I want to get rid of a losing trade immediately. Okay, so you see how it started going in your favor. I have the break even. I don't know how many ticks, but the break even, and it went up a tick or 2 and then closed out the position.
Order submitted.
All right, let's take a look at the roadmap. Oh, it went through it. Okay, so let's take a look here. Okay, so before I let you guys go for today, what you're seeing is, and I mentioned this earlier, once it breaks the roadmap, you usually see a run or a pop or an explosion. I think it's the only way I can think of it. So you see that once it broke the roadmap, there's a closing price. You see this large candle. It's almost like a run. It just ran. It usually does this. It goes a big move like a pop. So when I consider taking a trade when it breaks the roadmap zone, I always consider that once it breaks it, it's going to just go for an extended move and then it'll stop or pause. So
order submitted.
Now it's pausing and stopping here, and there's a new roadmap zone that's going to be created. I don't know. Let me see. It's not there yet. There's a new roadmap zone that's going to be created wherever the case may be, and then we're looking to do this all over again. Okay. This blueprint shaded area, remember I have it set to 2 bars. So once we have 2 candles that are below this shaded area, you'll see a signal. So I have it set to 2. When you're using larger time frames, which I'll show you, larger time frame, you got it,
Order
Steve.
filled.
Thank you.
Order submitted.
When you have a larger time frame, an hour or daily. Sorry, I'm looking at other charts. Hour or daily, 2 bars is too far. It's too much. It's too far away. So smaller time frames, a minute, maybe even 5 minutes, seconds, if you were tick chart, waiting for 2-3 bars, because I don't want to have a false breakout. So that's the reason why in this particular blueprint, which is included with mentorship, the blueprint has the option for how many candles, consecutive bars. So smaller time frames, use 2, I think works well. Larger time frames, hourly, daily, just use 1 bar, and you have the opportunity there to get in right away, because it's a much larger time frame. I don't want to wait for 2 days or 2 hours. I want to get in immediately. Okay. The other thing is the closer you enter. So I'll just show you here. The closer you enter from this shaded area. So look how close the signal is to the shaded area. Again, price action. 2 consecutive bars. 1, 2. The signal appears. You're in, and it's better when you're at the beginning of a move up or beginning of a move down. It's much better, because if you had 2 really large red candles like this, look how far away we're entering from where the market is breaking out from. It's too far away. It's not worth taking the trade, right? You have to consider that the move is over. So always think of that. The risk is always where we're entering in comparison to a pivot or this area, the blueprint or the roadmap. The same thing is true. Let's say that
canceled.
There's a roadmap, and the roadmap is telling you to go long way up here. Well, if I'm entering, I want to enter right at the beginning, right as it starts to break above.
Order submitted.
Like that. I don't want to enter when 2 huge bars plot. I think that's a mistake. Okay, overbought, oversold kind of idea. Anyone have any questions? Everyone okay with that? Okay. And this is what the roadmap, I'm sorry, the autopilot is doing. The last trade got you out, and now it's just trying to get you in. Now, the slower the market is, the less trades you're going to have. The more volatile the market is, obviously we're going to have more signals. But this being at 3 points, that's pretty healthy. That's pretty good. So that's, in a nutshell, giving you an idea of what the autopilot can do using a 1,000-tick chart, a little bit on the roadmap and the blueprint, and it just keeps on trying. Every candle it recalculates and recalculates to see if you can get in at a better price. And if there's a big move up, you're long. A big move down, you're short. Yes, we do. We do include the roadmap, the blueprint, and all the software, even the autopilot with Mentorship Plus. So if you're interested, you get all the software with a lifetime license. That's correct. All right, guys. Anybody have any questions? You want to see anything else? I'm sorry. There's a lot of questions here coming through, so if I missed anybody, just email me, and I'll send you a follow-up email.
Order submitted.
So if it comes into here, actually, that's incorrect. There'll be a new signal, a new roadmap being created. Yeah, there'll be a new roadmap above. So as it goes up, you'll see a new roadmap, and then it'll do that. That's where I would be considering the next move. This is definitely another blueprint over here, kind of setting up.
Order submitted.
Nothing really. Here it is. This is currently where it's at. It's kind of just it hit the break even, and now it's just kind of trailing. So hopefully market's now really starting to slow down a little bit, right? The moves aren't as large, and so this is on what it's
Order filled.
right. So it didn't even continue. You see, it's breaking and going and then reversing. Yep. And there's a little bit of a delay. I'm surprised. Usually I would think that the YouTube live stream is a little bit faster, but there's a good 3 or 4 seconds at least of delay between what I'm seeing and what you guys finally see or hear. So it's interesting. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Email me if you're interested in any of the software we offer. Send us an email or give us a call. Happy to answer your questions. If you're a mentorship student, and you have questions on anything, again, I'm available if you do have any questions as well. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me this morning. Have a great day. Bye-bye.